it's a very interesting place. I lived in Melbourne, lived and worked in the city down there for about 20 years. And, you know, within the first couple of years of moving up here, it became very apparent to me that in 20 years in Melbourne, I've never seen anything like the stuff that I've seen in this town. It's like just a concentrated area of happenings and paranormal and yeah, a lot of stuff. There's a lot of ghosts. So many houses in this town have ghosts. My house has got at least two. The house that was on the corner here had quite a nasty one. Yeah. God, just about everybody I know that's grown up in Maryborough has had experiences in their own home or other homes around town. Yeah, I mean, some like ghost hunters and people say it's like the ghost capital of Australia. I had cameras like at the front and down the sides and that, down the drive, and it used to like just stream live on a monitor in the kitchen dining room. The amount of activity that you would see of a night time would just have people just glued there, just going, what's that? What's that? What's that? To the point where I eventually had to take the cameras, turn the monitor off, because it just became so antisocial. People would come over and they'd say, I'm not going to get sucked into looking at that monitor tonight. And within 5 minutes, they're like, what's that? Almost lines of people walking, like coming from the corner over that way, coming diagonally through this paddock. But mostly they would mill about between the end on the corner and right up to the end of your property boundary. They sort of wouldn't go too much further up there, but the cameras kind of didn't go much further than that. Other things down my driveway I also saw, like one night I was sitting there, it was quite late and it was dead still, it was a full moon, and all of a sudden this gust of wind came down the driveway and started doing like a bit of a whirly, you know how they start to gather leaves, and I thought, oh, that's cool. It's a little whirly, a wind whirly. And then the next thing, it's gotten more and more solid, and it's formed like the shape of some very short person with almost like a square head, and this thing formed like a physical being, albeit you could see through it, and then it just glided further down the driveway and through my metal gate and straight through, and then it was out of shot. One night, my friend George and I, who used to live on the corner here, were coming home about 3 a.m, and we're coming down Union Street, and we've got just over the rise, you know, just as you hit that blind spot. And as we come over, this creature has shot diagonally at super speed, like just whooshed from the corner over there. It's like it's come from the gully and gone diagonally straight across here, down into this drain behind you, and shot off down there. And I had to jump on the brakes, and we've both gone, what the? To a complete stop, and just looked at each other and said, what the fuck was that? Long, it was low to the ground, it had a very, very long tail. It almost looked like the cartoon depiction of the wolf in Little Red Riding Hood, but not quite. One night I was up quite late, and I was sitting on my veranda, all the windows were open, I was having a durry, and it was dead quiet, and then all of a sudden I heard this like cross between a scream and a yell, like you couldn't decipher whether it was human or animal. It was like in between, but it sounded like it was miles and miles away, like over beyond the river, like way past that, miles away, but so loud that it just like boomed. And the next day I said to my friend George, did you hear some really bizarre, scary, strange scream, yell at about 3 a.m? He said, oh my God, what the fuck was that? First one, and then within the next 30 seconds it did it one more time. And I was just like, what? And I've never heard it again. On another night, because when I told, I was speaking to people about it and we were describing it, trying to see if anyone knew what it was, a lot of people said, oh, it'd just be foxes mating. If you've, ever heard of fox mating. And I was like, well, no, I haven't. Funnily enough, only about 2 years ago, possibly you guys had even moved here. One night I was sitting in the van there and I thought it was a girl getting attacked, like high-pitched screaming. I thought it was a girl getting attacked, like high-pitched screaming, shrieking, like someone was getting murdered, right? And it was very close. I burst out the door, got my torch, raced to the gate, over the fence down here, the direction it was coming. And there was actually 2 foxes fighting on the nature street. As soon as I put my torch on it, they went, and pissed off. And that was a very confronting and scary sound. It wasn't the sound I heard. They were 2 very different sounds. And that was many years ago. That would be like 12 years ago when I heard that sound. And since, getting into the Australian Yowie hunters and research and stuff like that, from all accounts, the way people have described Yowie screams or yells or calls, it's exactly what they describe. Searched, audio files on different animals and to match it, nothing. I thought that's what it was. Hearing other people talk about it. You come across things in life and you can't explain it. They're all around us in a circle just here. And also, getting back to the pocket, paranormal activity and energy that goes on kind of from March Street all the way down to the end there. Eyewitness accounts from children spying in the bushes and other people, adults, and also in past floods there's been a lot of tragedy, drownings, deaths. There was a lot of industry down there and a lot more houses. They either got swept away or demolished. There's a lot of darkies, and also up the street here, I don't know if you know about the carbolic acid murders. Yeah. It was a married couple. They had like 6 or 7 children, I think, or 5. 3 of his co-workers up and decided one afternoon that they had enough of their boss and the job and was sick of being treated like crap. So they told the boss to shove the job, quit, went to the pub for the afternoon, then went home, told the missus. She's freaked out. What are you doing? I think not long after that or the next day, I think she, begged him to go and get his job back, but he wouldn't. She administered carbolic acid to all of the children and then lastly to herself. And they all died a very slow and agonising. A bloke who grew up in this street, his mum used to own the house on this side, 3 houses up. He used to play in that house as a child. With the new owners, the new family after that occurred, and they were little, and he said, oh my God, so much bad shit used to go on in that house. Had an eyewitness whose mother is 5th generation, lived across the road, swears it was that house. And I've known previous tenants in that house, and nobody lasted longer than about 3 to 6 months. But prior to that, no, it sent normal people crazy and they fled. Gosh, every second or third house around here, there's a ghost